I'm going to go through the steps to solve the practice problem number 10, which is on page 73 of your textbook. This is for Math 64. So the problem indicates a strength of 800 milligrams and 250 milliliters is what's ordered. This is the dose, and you'll notice that the units are in micrograms and there's kilograms involved here. So it's 5 micrograms per kilogram per minute, and the kilogram is referring to the patient's weight. The nurses are using a tubing that's 15 drops per milliliter. So the first question is asking, what is the milligrams per minute? Milligrams per minute. Well, I've got micrograms per minute, but I've got this kilogram stuff in here. So what I'm going to have to do is use the patient's weight, which is 75 kilograms. 75 kilograms. I'm going to set up a conversion chain. I am not going to do the problem the way your text does. So there's the weight, and then I'm going to make use of this information right here. 5 micrograms, and that's per 1 kilogram per minute. Okay, so that's going to go from kilograms to micrograms per minute. I want milligrams per minute, so that means I'm going to have to go from micrograms to milligrams, and the relationship is 1 to 1,000. So the bottom line is multiply 75 times 5 and divide it by 1,000. So I'm going to do that. 75 times 5 and divide it by 1,000. And if my arithmetic is correct, I get 0.375. 0.375. And my units, you can see the kilograms drop out, the micrograms drop out, leaving me with milligrams on top and minutes on the bottom. Milligrams per minute. And that's what they asked me to find, milligrams per minute. Okay, the next thing is milligrams per hour. Well, that's really easy because I'm going to use the answer from my first part, and I'm going to change colors just for the fun of it. I'm going to use 0.375, and this is milligrams per 1 minute. 1 minute. And I want to change that to milligrams per hour, so all I have to do is go from minutes to hours. And I know that relationship, it's 60 to 1. So it's just 60 times my previous answer, so I'm going to multiply that by 60, and I get 22.5. 22.5, and you can see the minutes drop out. Milligrams per hour. Milligrams per hour. On the next one, I'm going to change colors again. They're looking for milliliters per hour. Well, I have milligrams per hour, so I'm going to have to somehow go from milligrams to milliliters. Well, the tool that I'm going to use is right here. It's showing me a relationship between milligrams and milliliters. So I'm going to start with what I have, which is 22.5 milligrams per hour for 1 hour. And I'm going to use that guy up on top that I just showed you. And the 800 milligrams is going to go on the bottom. And the 250 on the top. 250 milliliters. So it's just 22.5, which I still have in my calculator, times 250 divided by 800. And I get 7.0303125. 125. And I think I'm going to go ahead and round this off. I think 2 places is respectable. So I'm going to call it 0.3. And you can see that the milligrams drop out, leaving me with milliliters on the top and hours on the bottom. And that's exactly what I was asked to find, milliliters per hour. And finally, I'm looking for the drops per minute. Drops per minute is, in the problems over here, 15 drops per milliliter. I have milliliters right here and hours, so I'm going to use that as my next steppings down. So I'm going to start with what I ended with on the previous one, 7.03. I'm going to use that rounded off number, milliliters, and that's for 1 hour. Now I'm going to have to change milliliters to drops, and I'm going to have to change hours to minutes because that's what it's asking for. So if I do the milliliters and the drops, the milliliters have to go on the bottom, and the GTTS go on the top, and that's 15 over 1. And then finally I'm going to change the hour to minutes. My hour has to go on top, that's 1 hour. And my 60 minutes on the bottom. So I'll multiply all that together. Let me put this in my calculator, 7.03 times 15 and times 1, and then divided by 60. I can ignore those ones on the bottom, and I get 1.7575. And again, I don't really have any rounding instructions on here, so I think 2 places is respectable. So this is 1.76, and you can see that my milliliters drop out, my hours drop out, and I'm left with GTTS per minute, which is exactly what they asked me for. And there you have it.